hang on. Sorry, gotta take this. Hello? Nah, I can totally talk now.
Hey guys, it's Moses the Best, and here we are again, doing a video I've had in my mind for a little while. This time I'm here to discuss a show that I really like, and as you can tell, it's Cartoon Network's great, but regretfully short-lived 2019 DC Superhero Girls.
Now that we're together, gonna get that super life! Wow!
DC Superhero Girls is basically a franchise that is exactly what it says on the tin. It focuses on the female superhero or villain lineup of DC Comics. The franchise was launched with a web series that ran from 2015 to 2018. I won't be talking much about the web series, but I don't think there's much for me to say in the first place. I don't think it's that interesting. Anyway, the TV series was done to build on the web series. With that being said, we come to Lauren Faust, whose credits you may recognize from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and the Powerpuff Girls. She's also the creator of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Anyway, Faust had already done some work before with these characters in her Super Best Friends Forever shorts, and she was approached for the television series of DC Superhero Girls. In her own words, Faust and her team did a complete reboot, starting from the ground up, going with different storylines from the web series and different characterizations. So that's how it got started. As for how I got into it, well, this show was kind of something I caught in the background while I was at other people's homes. I saw some of the older web series in the same way, but that one didn't appeal to me much, you know, a bit out of my demographic. But with the new one, I saw that it was very different, and I was really enjoying it, so I started actively following it.
Normal teenager lesson number 4. Pop culture.
Culture? Is she kidding?
The plot of the 2019 show starts with a 4-part special, and because the episodes are 11 minutes long, that means it starts with a 1-hour special. The story's beginnings are not too exciting, just your usual new girl in a new school type plot. The new girl in this case is Barbara Gordon, or Babs, who used to live in Gotham but now lives in Metropolis. Of course, Babs isn't too excited to be starting at this new school, as these stories go, but she encounters other eccentric figures who also go to the school, and they all get into detention together, which Babs caused on purpose. Just to get it out of the way, this room all has Batgirl, Supergirl, Bumblebee, Zatanna, Green Lantern, except not the Hal Jordan one, and they all meet with Wonder Woman in detention too. As it turns out, each one of them, except for Wonder Woman at this point, is hiding their hero identity, and it gets revealed. So, their friend group starts based on the fact that they're all superheroes. They get together at an ice cream parlor, Wonder Woman's mom shows up because she actually had escaped from home, but then she leaves, and our heroes save the day from the villain, who happens to be the younger sister of Lex Luthor. Wonder if he'll come into play later.
That's the dumbest plan I've ever heard.
You're the dumbest plan I've ever heard!
I feel it might have been a bit long-winded, but that's our context right there, and that's the setting of the show. These 6 girls are all superheroes who go to the same high school, they meet up at an ice cream parlor, which is where their secret hideout is, and they just go about living everyday life and going to school. Of course, some things get piled on, we meet new heroes, new villains, old heroes even, but this show is basically entirely episodic, so what you see here is what you'll get. Now, I don't think that sounds very exciting on its own, but I think one of the things that really puts the show together are the characters. That's what gives the show just the right feelings, or at least it's one of the things that gives the show the right feelings.
Oh, so we need to hide a body? No problem. I grew up in Gotham.
Babs is the glue that holds the cast together, as close as we can get to a proper protagonist. Babs is eccentric, she's quirky, she just has a great energy about her. Some might find it annoying, but for me it's very endearing. I think that Babs feels a lot more down to earth than much of the main cast, not in personality mind you, but she is Batgirl. Of course, she doesn't have any special powers, she's just doing what she can do, getting around the city on her moped, inspired to be a hero by Batman.
Ugh, Bruce Wayne is the worst!
As said earlier, Batgirl is from Gotham, and back there her best friend was Harleen Quinzel. That name sounds familiar. Oh yeah. Although throughout the show, her and Harley are completely oblivious to each other's identities, even when they interact as villains. As a side note, I've always preferred Harley Quinn's original outfit from Batman the Animated Series, but I like how they incorporate both designs into this show. Moving on, I also just find it hilarious how the show depicts Gotham as this completely crime-ridden hellhole, like just a miserable place to be. But Babs walks through this blight and just loves being back there.
It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
Look, I know this is kind of a low-hanging fruit, but unlike some unfortunate predecessors, I love Supergirl in this show. Kara Danvers has a real attitude to her. She's rash, reckless, and immature. She's arrogant and charges into situations without thinking, but since she's really strong, she can kind of get away with it. She's the rebel of the group. She isn't just a female Superman, and she wants you to know it.
I mean, I have the exact same powers as him. I come from the exact same planet. I practically have the exact same backstory.
But despite her attitude, Kara does have a soft side. In fact, she has insecurities that stem from constantly being compared to Superman, as well as from being misjudged. There's an episode where she's fighting with her version of Bizarro, and they actually bond with each other over how they're always short-sighted over Superman and the Bizarro Superman. The relationship that Kara has with Clark Kent is just another example of what I love in this show's humor. Supergirl and Superman are just actively antagonistic to each other. I mean, it's not like they really hate each other, but they also wouldn't mind seeing the other suffer. Diana Prince is an Amazonian princess who left home to enroll in a regular high school. Hey, I can't judge. Anyway, Diana plays the role of the typical outsider. She's the one who doesn't quite fit in. She's quite obtuse, but has a strong sense of justice and responsibility, which certainly makes her great as a hero, but looking out of place basically anywhere else.
Tried to betray me with your technological wiles after this!
In this show, Jessica Cruz is the activist who's always in your face. She's a vegan, an environmentalist, and a pacifist, allegedly. I really like how Jessica ends up being the one who seems to get the most invested in the things she's doing. A lot of the jokes she has are related to her picketing for some kind of cause, and she's usually the only one interested. There's an episode where she tries really hard to make friends with Pamela Isley because she thinks she's lonely, and despite how much Pamela adamantly refuses, Jessica just doesn't give up.
You wanna come help with the community garden this weekend?
Yeah! Leave me alone!
You know what? Good on her. I like the spirit.
Did someone say, do it?
Zatanna Zatara, although here she's just called Z Zatara, is kind of the self-absorbed member of the group. She performs magic and can be pretty selfish and spoiled. Honestly, I really do like this character, I just don't have much to say. Last but not least, well, I guess technically she is least in stature, we have Karen Beecher, the youngest of the group. Karen is shy and timid. She doesn't like bringing much attention to herself and often lacks confidence, but she will be there for her friends.
Time to sweat the small stuff.
A little detail here, but I really like the way she's drawn as Bumblebee. It's the simplicity that makes it effective. Now, I'm not too familiar with the comics, although apparently some of the characters are quite different, like Jessica and Karen, but in terms of the show itself, this cast really works. These characters and their wildly differing personalities really makes them bounce off of each other in the best way, like Kara taking glory from the rest of the group, or Babs being hyper, Diana not fitting in. It's not even just these characters, because male superheroes and villains come in and they also have their own energy with the main cast.
And?
So I like the characters. Now combine that with the high school setting and a really lighthearted tone and you get something that just ends up being really fun. I mean, it is a comedy. This is the type of show that basically never takes itself seriously. The played straight moments are few and far between and are usually connected to something comedic.
If it will save the people of Earth, I turn myself in.
And you are?
Are you kidding?
To see more of the show's style, there's an episode where Diana is just infatuated with this boring, plain guy, Steve Trevor, and it's ruining her life. Anytime she sees him, she immediately stops what she's doing and becomes a mumbling, giggling mess. But this ain't supposed to happen to Wonder Woman. She's a strong woman, an icon.
You're literally a symbol of female empowerment.
So the girls plan for what to do. What's the plan? Well, what ends up happening is that Batgirl transfers Steve to another school. But what the other girls plan to do was, kill him. Yeah, even the alleged pacifist Green Lantern. It's really the absurdity that sells the joke.
What were you guys gonna do?
Of course, not every episode involves a murder conspiracy. There's an episode where Babs is embarrassed in front of the whole school, so she and the Flash use time travel to undo everything. Of course, these types of stories are in a lot of shows, so you can probably guess what happens from here. Because Barbara and Barry abuse time travel and end up in a dystopian future, they have to undo everything that they undid. Although it kind of plays out how you would expect, what makes me really love the episode is the show's usual humor and charm that's added onto the premise.
What's more important, my dignity Or 6 billion human lives!
I think it's 7 billion actually.
So it's a few more than I said!
Although we get a lot of these otherworldly plots, the show dwells into some slice of life every now and then too. Like when the girls are going out to exercise, but Karen can't get there because she has to rely on mass transit, while the rest can get there in a car, or a scooter. So the rest of the episode is Diana learning to drive so she can help her out. By the way, I want to point out how complicated Karen's route is. She misses the train, so she takes the bus. She misses the ferry, so she takes another bus. She can't take another train, so she takes another train. Okay. For some more slice of life, there's a time where Babs has to balance being a hero with her part-time job, and she almost fails at doing both. And there's another time where a few characters have to deal with weekend detention, which is pretty obviously inspired by The Breakfast Club. To avoid repeating myself with these, I'll just say that it's the character interactions and overall charm of the show that makes these episodes work, even though the premises themselves aren't that unique. And while the show is largely episodic, there are a couple of two-part specials that have a single storyline, and a few moments where continuity does matter, like Lex Luthor in the first few episodes. Remember him? Well, he did come into play with an episode involving his company and the show's male and female superheroes. Although even in these episodes, things usually stay pretty light in tone. Although there's a lot more I want to say about the episodes, I want to reel back and get to a few things that I haven't talked about very much, the first of which is the voice work. I've already talked about how strong the character writing is, but it wouldn't work as well as it did without the people who played the characters. This show has some pretty notable names attached to it. You got Tara Strong, Cree Summer, Grey DeLiso, you even got Real Frito doing Lex Luthor. But really the whole cast sounds like they're giving it their all. I really like the voice for Pamela Isley, who's done by Christina Milizia. She has a soft and soothing voice that takes on a slightly more severe tone as Poison Ivy. Another highlight is Nicole Sullivan as Kara. She really nails that rough around the edges feel of the character. And what ties everything together is the animation and art direction. Going along with the writing and charm, the visuals of the show just have so much energy to them. I like the vibrant colors of the main girls. I love all of the facial expressions characters can do, like having giant grins or just looking really pouty and soft. The character designs are another highlight of the art direction. They're all fairly simple, but they just work so well. I've talked about some of them already, but I love Barbara's bat hoodie that she always has on. I like Jessica's beanie. I like how Lois Lane has pencils in her hair and looks like she hasn't slept in 2 days. I like how Barry always has a big smile on his face. Can you tell that I really like this show?
Come on, guys. We don't want to let our heart rates drop.
But with all of that praise, is there anything that I don't like about this show? Well, there are a few small things that don't click with me. I don't really like the intro. I mean, it's not terrible or anything, but it's also not good. It's just kind of there, and it's also really short, but I mean, the episodes are 11 minutes long. Another is that every episode title has a hashtag, like hashtag burrito bucket or hashtag misgiving tree. This is a really odd choice because it makes it look like the type of show that's being very trendy or leaning heavy into pop culture. But it's not that type of show, so the episodes having hashtags really has nothing to do with the show itself. Maybe it was done so that it'll be easier to talk about the show on actual social media. Finally, not all of the jokes land very well. Some gags just fall flat. Like, there was a time when the girls were discovering villains whose souls were being taken by Katana, and the first person they find, Karen says,
Now what?
which is fine, but with every new person they find, Karen says the same thing, but longer.
Now what?
I thought that was kind of lame. But really, these are minor nitpicks, and it's easy to forget about some jokes falling flat when every episode is just filled with fun. It's just consistently good.
I got it!
So when it comes to the main series, DC Superhero Girls has a fair bit of content. A bit before the show properly started, there were some shorts published online, and you can find all of those on YouTube. These shorts run for about 2 to 3 minutes long, and there are 52 of them in total, so it's nice bonus content. There's also a short that came out in theaters in 2018. The show's first season had 52 11-minute episodes, which amounts to 26 half hours. In between season 1 and 2 coming out, there were 2 crossover specials with Cartoon Network's other DC-based show, Teen Titans Go. If you want to know what I think about these specials, then I'm sorry to disappoint because I didn't watch them. I like DC Superhero Girls, but I don't really like Teen Titans Go, so I didn't see the point. But that's fine, because the show's second season was coming out, and it came out. It was running for a few months with 26 episodes, 13 half hours, and then it just abruptly ended. Spoiler alert, in the final episode, Batgirl and Harley Quinn learn each other's identities, and the episode ends in a cliffhanger with them. And the show went on what I presumed at the time to be a few-month hiatus, but no, it was over. I have no idea what was happening behind the scenes with the show. Maybe it didn't perform too well, maybe there were budget concerns, but nevertheless, it really sucks. Remember those crossover specials I was talking about? Well, there was another one that came out a few months after the last episode, a direct-to-video movie, Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Mayhem in the Multiverse, which serves as the series finale to DC Superhero Girls. And I think that this is so lame. I mean, really, this is how they end the show? In a crossover? Come on. Hey, sorry for the interruption, but after looking through some of this movie while editing, it seems like it's much more DC Superhero Girls than it is Teen Titans Go, so I think I'm being kind of unfair by dismissing it because it's a crossover. In fact, what really sucks is that this show basically gets no respect at all from Warner Brothers. You can barely even watch it. The show is not on HBO Max, or just Max these days, and it's also been delisted from digital retailers like Amazon and iTunes. You can watch season 1 on Netflix in the US as of the time that I'm making this video. Actually, you can't anymore. And the shorts are still on YouTube, but good luck trying to find season 2 unless, you know. The life of a pirate for me. While I really dislike the way that things ended up turning out, I'll still say that the 2019 DC Superhero Girls is a great show. I fawned over it enough in this video trying to describe why I like it so much. Overall, I just find the show so charming. I love the show's setting and characters, I love the show's animation and visual style, I love the show's voice acting and writing. I just think that this show has a great attitude and a great spirit, which makes me much prefer it over another comedic DC show like Teen Titans Go. I'm not trying to rag on Teen Titans Go or anything, but I just think it's worse. Lauren Faust and the people she had working on this show really had something good going on here. It's just unfortunate that the corporation which owns the rights to it seem very indifferent or even hostile to it. Anyway, that'll be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and appreciate the work that I put into it. Peace guys, I'm Moser the Best.
That's it.